everyone, Nick Kreticos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and today you're watching me in Bowdabra, and we have some exciting things for you tonight. We're going to be dealing with non-wired ribbon, and this is something that I typically don't recommend for most bow making. However, the Bowdabra makes it much easier to create these red velvet bows. So this is what screams Christmas to me. I make evergreen products at Christmas time, and this is my favorite product to use, and this is what truly says Christmas more than any other product I use. So it comes in a 100-yard spool. I go through a lot of these, that's why I purchased it in bulk, but you can be picking up 10, 25, 50, 75 yards, whatever you need. As you can see, there's a lot. So this is 1.5 inch, and I have a little left over from a previous roll, so we're going to deal with this, and it's a lot more manageable when you have a smaller roll. We're also going to be using a 100-yard roll of Bowdabra wire. They come in silver as well as gold. We're not going to use a whole 100 yards for this. It's only going to take about a yard or two per bow, so you should have plenty for bow making. So I'm going to start off by cutting off a length. So as you guys come in, let me know where you're watching from. Behind the camera tonight is my dad. Both of my sisters are working right now, so my dad is awesome enough to film for this. So here's the Bowdabra. What we're going to do is we cut about a 24-inch piece of wire. You can cut it longer if you need to wrap it around something. It's always better to have more than less when it comes to the wire, because if you don't have enough, you're going to have to figure out a way to add some more. So what we're going to start off doing is actually adding our tails, simply because holding a bow with non-wired velvet is a lot more difficult than holding a wired ribbon. So I'm just going to cut a length off. As I always say, it doesn't make a difference. However large you think you're going to need your bow is what you're going to need to create. So we're not going to create an overly large bow today. So if you need something for a large design, by all means, create a larger bow. So I just pinched it in the middle, and all I'm going to do is just place it between the hands. Think of this as an extra hand. So this is basically our third hand that holds everything together. So if you don't have a tight grip, or if you have arthritis or anything, this is the perfect tool for it, because basically it's a third hand. And now what we can start doing is creating our loops. It's going to be the same exact bow. Just keep in mind that you do want this to lie perfect in this case, or else when you go to fluff it, it is a little bit more difficult. So then what we're going to do right here is we're going to pinch so that the velvet is underneath on the other side. And the reason for that is that if you create a little twist in the middle, it adds some tension, and we definitely want some tension when we're creating the bows, or else it'll become too flimsy. So the side we don't want showing is showing now, but then when we twist it again in the middle, the side we want revealed is showing. So we're going to repeat this pattern over and over again until we get the amount of loops that we want. Typically for non-wired bows, I recommend at least 7 to 8 loops on either side.
Hi everybody.
So my dad again is filming for me today. So if he sees any questions that you guys may have, he'll be more than happy to ask them to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you all. But if you don't mind sharing this video, I greatly appreciate it. It helps me inspire and teach as many people as possible, and that's the whole reason for our businesses.
You could use different size ribbon with this too, Nick?
Yep, you certainly can. You could use whatever size ribbon you want. Typically the size I prefer most is actually this, which is a 1.5 inch, followed by a 2.5 inch ribbon. That's my second favorite size, and then a 4 inch. I don't care for 2.5 inch as much as 1.5 inch. It's just a personal preference. The whole bow making process is a personal preference. If you don't like the ribbon we're using, feel free to mix it up. It's the same technique with maybe a burgundy ribbon or an ivory ribbon. The choice is ultimately up to you as to what size you want, as well as what color you want.
Hi Edna, hi Pat, thank you.
Okay, so a few more loops on either side, and this bow will be good to go. And then we can take it off of our Bowdabra and we can fluff it real quick. So we have about 4 or 5 loops on either side. We'll do one more set of 2 on either side just to bulk it up a little bit more. Okay, so here's our final loop. And now what I'll do is I'll just snip the ribbon off. And what I like to do is actually leave a little overhang. So I like to leave about a 1/2 inch of an overhang just to support our bow in case our wire becomes a little loose. By having that little bit of an overhang, it limits the amount of loops that can slide out if the wire does become loose. So now we'll just pull it really, really tight. and then pull it off of our Bowdabra, like that. So now we can pull it really tightly from behind and just wrap the wire around the bow, just like that, and then pull it really tight again. You really want these bows to be tight, and then we can secure it. Oh, we broke that wire. So I'm just going to wrap this around again.
Hi, Sharon. Thank you. Everybody loves the Bowdabra.
I know. And then we can just pull the loops apart. So like I said, with non-wired velvet, you do really want to pull the wire really tight, which is why I did rip that one. I pulled it really, really tight. But the tighter it is, the better the hold is. Since it's not wired, it doesn't hold its shape as well as wired ribbon. But once you get the practice with making it, this ribbon's extremely cheap, you guys. So even if you go through a couple bows before you get the hang of it, that's totally fine. This big roll of 100-yard ribbon from Jacobsen only cost $14.99, $15.99 for 100 yards, so not a bad price. Then we can pull our tails down, and look at that. Very simple, and it's easier to attach it to something and fluff open your loops, but as you can see right here, just by fluffing it by hand just for a few simple seconds, it works great.